Okay, today is, what is today? Tuesday? No. It's, God, am I ever behind the schedule here? It is Saturday, the 3rd. We're moving along on this, we're not at a total standstill on this Silvertone. But we are on everything else. Still waiting on decals for the airline. We're waiting on notification that decals are available from Radio Days for the airline. We got all this speaker grill corner put back together and mostly squared up because it was, if you remember, it was tailing off to the front. So we got all that back together. We got it sanded down to schmooze it out. It came out really good. We're going to hit it with some finer cloth later. We'll get it all dressed up and we'll get some. I'm still toiling with the with what to finish it with, the stains and all. The cabinet is coming back together. I just jigged it up now for the top. We got the side glued back into it, and this semi-round piece here at the bottom. I believe I decided that I would do a paint finish on all the hardwood. It's a toss-up between the Kona finish, if I can get it to a different tone, to do all this accent work finish, and then it's an eeny meeny miny on what to do about all the veneer. So this will be cured up in a few hours, and then we can see how this fits up on it and make any final adjustments to it before we do any more finish work on it. So I think that's about it in a nutshell for this Silvertone cabinet, at least. I'm waiting on tube from back east for the chassis, and I think instead of let's move inside and I'll give you a rundown of what I've figured on that. Okay, on this Silvertone chassis, I decided rather than to sit and wait to do the cleanup on the and start removing stuff off the thing, I have to make a test on it first to see how she's going to do. I was going to hold off on recapping the rest of the radio chassis until I got the tube in and got it checked out. But rather than sit around and let it sit idle, I decided to go ahead and do the recapping now. There's a couple of more that I need to get to. One on the back of the switch, and one underneath the tuner section. But I'm not going to worry too much about those right now until the tube comes in and we can get it tested and see if we get a response out of it and make any adjustments to it before we start taking a hatchet to it, pulling it apart. So we did that. We took a couple of resistors and replaced them, a couple of 500Ks. Boy, they were way out. These two right here. There are other ones in here that I need to get and pick out. This one's okay. Well, there's not a great deal of resistors in here, except for this one, that one, and maybe one down here somewhere, up on top, on the back of the volume switch, volume pot. So that's it. We're playing a waiting game again now. So we'll see you in the next segment. Okay, moving on to diagramming. Decided to diagram this switch, band switch, oscillator coil, trimmers, padders, and the antenna coil, as well as the tuner and the translator tube, the J8 tube. Well, what there was of it. I see one thing. No, I got that. As a matter of fact, I'm not sure if that's a real mica or not. It's supposed to be a 005, but it doesn't indicate. Well, let me double check that. Okay, I was wrong. That is a mica. I thought since it was just a 005, it was a standard cap, but it's not. It says it on the parts list as a mica. So anyway, so everything is diagrammed. So when we're ready to after we're checking this out and see where we're at with its abilities, we're all set so that we can start taking things apart here and stripping the chassis and getting all this stuff off so we can get it cleaned up. We can get this cleaned up and these cleaned up and the chassis cleaned up and the cap cleaned up and the panel removed and cleaned up and the speaker and field coil. Yeah, it's all going to come off. About the only thing that's going to be left on this chassis is the IF cans. I don't know, I may go so far as that is definitely going to stay on. I don't know, I have to think about these, removing them. This in here, I can remove this and sleeve that. This one don't got one. So, I don't know, we'll see. Okay, Sarah. Alright, so that's it in a nutshell for today. So, we're back to twiddling our thumbs and watching some Groove Tube. See what's going on the golf, the Pro Golf, the PGA Tour. Okay, I'll see you guys on the next segment. Yeah, okay, one last thing before I wrap this up and bag it and get it uploaded. I'm trying to adapt these videos into short clip segments. So I'm adapting from here to there, especially whenever I get to a situation like I'm in now, is a waiting game. I hate to sit around and wait whenever, you know, I got things to do. And it's my own fault because I didn't, I either thought I had something in the rack for replacement, or I didn't have anything in the rack, and I never checked to see if I had anything there. Usually what I'd done, I don't know, like 2 years ago or so, when I bought a radio online and I knew what the model was, and I checked out Radio Museum and see what the tube complement was on a thing, I ordered tubes for it, especially the front end tubes and possibly a power tube, a power output tube, audio output tube. So I would have it. I would double check the rack, and if I didn't have it, I'd order it. And so, and I'd take stock of my cap stock. And if I was short on something, I'd get it ordered. And that way I wouldn't have to balk in the middle of a routine. Well, I'm shuffling 1, 2, buckle my shoe, 3, 4 radios, 2 of which are mine, and I am refurbishing them. 2 from a subscriber in Texas that I've got waiting in the wings, and just so happens, unfortunately, the other glitch is Radio Days. I got to hold up on that one, so that one there's going to sit for a while. This one here is liable to go before it, because the one thing about it, Silvertone, at least for these particular models, didn't use any decals or graphics for the knobs. So I try to adapt these videos so that I can get within 15 minutes. I hate seeing videos that are 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour long. I know you can break it up and come back to it and everything if you put it in your watch list so you can easily accept. But that's too long to sit, and when you got things to do, and believe me, I got things to do. Well, except for now, but so that way I can keep my subscribership in tow. Give you guys something to look at for a few minutes, and then you're off and doing your thing. I don't want you sitting around for 40 minutes or so while I dink around checking capacitors on my capacitor tester, and which I don't own, by the way. And it gets rather involved. So I'm trying to snip these up into little segments to keep you abreast of what I'm doing and how it's going, and any information you may need, especially when I start tearing these apart. When I start tearing these apart, I document it pretty good, and that way I can get it into a clip. Maybe not the nuts and bolts of it, but I can show you what I have so that you can do it if you had one of these graphics. And I'm more than willing to give it free of charge. So let me get out of here, go get this downloaded, get the video and processed, and get it uploaded. So thanks for watching. I really appreciate you guys sharing and liking and commenting, because it kicks in the algorithms. The algorithms. So I'll see you on the next clip.